imploding, when I said implode your consonants, did that mean you were supposed to inhale on every consonant? No. No. But here's the distinction for me is like, all right, right now we're going to, what's the beginning of the next song we're going to do? What's the first phrase?
I'm going to live till I die.
I'm going to live till I die is the first phrase? Okay, say that for me, but I want you to actually push it at me. Okay, here we go. I'm going to live till I die. Just say it. Ready, and.
I'm going to live till I die.
That act of thrust is throwing off your timing of your vocal cords. Just that little tiny press on each one. I'm gonna live till I die. Okay? So this mechanism doesn't stand a chance of coordinating with ease. All right, now we're gonna flip it. I'm. It's like I am. I know it sounds weird, but I'm sucking in my sounds as if I'm saying them to the back of my throat. I'm gonna live. I'm gonna live till I die. Right. Now, interesting. Did you happen to notice we start to get the pulse that we want, the rhythmic pulse in barbershop, because we're not thrusting, we're pulling, and that action actually gives us the rhythmic pulse that we want in our singing. Without effort, and it's fully synchronized. So here we go. Do it again for me. So pull the space in, like our little guy over there, breathing in. And now articulate it to you the back of your throat. I'm gonna live till I die. You were completely unified as you did that. I get goosebumps from you saying it. You feel the distinction? So, it's odd, it's exciting. Well, because those are onsets, every single one of those little syllables you're saying. If you articulate it like that, the sound can't do anything but ring. Shall we do that? Right now?
Yeah,
Okay.
but we want to talk about the length of the vowel sound.
Oh, the length of the well, what I'm going to say is that nothing ever changes. So these onsets being quick, like we're doing right there. Do it again for me. Breathing in. And.
I'm going to live till I die.
You feel it? It energizes. Never changes. Even if we're on a slow ballad, the speed of that consonant, the speed of that vowel onset is always the same. It always has to be faster than you think it does. It has to be closer to the way your brain would say that sound than the way that we want to sing that sound. Does that make sense to you? So that's why I'll say to you, learn your notes, make sure you know your notes, make sure you know your inter. You've learned those things so that they're in your brain, because what you're doing when you're learning your music is programming your software program in your mind. Every song I ever sang as a pro was in my mind like I was pushing a button on a jukebox. B54, I sing it exactly the same way every single time because my brain has been programmed to sing it the same way every single time. That sounds crazy, but that's A-level barbershop. Let's go there, gentlemen. Here we go.
I'm a little confused as to.
Sorry,
I confuse
Fred.
easily as stuff.
Okay.
It seems like you're telling us two different things that pull in, for me, two different
Yep,
directions.
no.
One is you're telling us to articulate the sounds as if we're singing towards the back of our throat.
Yep.
But we're also working on sending the sound directly upward, and I don't know which direction to go in.
Okay. So, 4 years and $40,000 worth of information is in my brain. I'm going to give it to you in
I haven't
2
got that
hours.
much with me.
Okay, so, okay, now, I say that because, yeah, it's a little complicated. All right, so let's do the same thing. Now catch the consonant at the wall and fling the sound to the ceiling. So you can do it in different directions depending on what your objective is with the sound and what we're trying to do, okay? In this one, we're going to probably be flinging it to the ceiling a little bit more than pulling it back. But now just articulate the same way you just did, but now we're going to go up. Trust me, it's literally, the axis is here. That never changes. The onset is right at that little teeny tiny target, all right, behind your forward lift on the back side of that wall. All right, got that? Okay, here we go. So now that you got the words in your mind, now we're going to throw them to the ceiling, ready, and. I'm
I'm gonna live till I die.
Now it's a little sluggish, you can feel it, right? So now set the height of the instrument. Now do it again.
I'm gonna live till I die.
Now it was unified. What changed? You kept the height of the hard palate. You kept this roof of the mouth, the structure of this, okay? That's your cathedral ceiling right there. You kept it up. Now if we all drop our faces, drop them, and we all drop the roof of our mouth, and try to say those words, flinging it to the ceiling, try. Here we go.
I'm gonna live till I die.
It closes the entire thing down. Okay, so your magic is the inside space that you are suspending and sustaining. Okay, now take it back up. That's the cocktail party feeling, right? Fake feeling. All right, now we're going to do it again. Here we go.
I'm gonna live till I die.
Now let's really pop that D on die. Ready, and.
I'm gonna live till I die.
Now you got a forte. Do that again. That's your forte. That's your turn-on button. Here we go.
I'm gonna live till I die.
That act of that D, the way that we just articulated it, is going to instantly explode your resonance and your ring. Got it? Even if you don't get it all tonight and it doesn't all make sense tonight, and you've got the seeds of this in you, and you're going to take whatever makes sense to you tonight and take it to your practice and take it to the next level, and it will integrate. What you got from me the last time has already integrated. Okay, so this is just the next round. All right? If I gave it to you all at once, we'd be ashes and loafers. Okay, so exactly. All right, ready to go, guys? So let's, Fred, for purposes of this song right now, we're going to keep the structure of the space and we're going to play with the ceiling. Okay? Here we go.
I'm gonna live till I die. I'm gonna laugh, scared and cry. I'm gonna fill my cup until my number's up. I'm gonna live, live, live till I die. I'm gonna say.
Yeah, pause. That's okay. So you can feel it. The first I did not lock. Okay, so everybody exhale. Blow. Can we have pitch, please? We're just going to do the first I. So you're going to pull it to you and launch up. Here we go. I. Faster. I. Now can you do I'm gonna? Here we go.
I'm gonna.
Go again.
I'm gonna.
Now what's happening is if you stay up on that first expansion, I'm already up. Stay there. Here we go. Ready, Ann?
I'm gonna.
So I can hear some people going, I'm gonna, and coming back down with those notes. The roof of the mouth is high. Don't let it come down, gentlemen. Here we go. Ready, and keep the structure steady. Ready, and.
I'm gonna live.
That was it. Structure stays up. The structure staying up is what's helping you create that magic. All right, who does that not make sense for? Anybody?
Is that the same space when we talk about barber speaking? That's the same.
What's barber speaking? Explain.
Well, it's very similar to that. In other words, rather than saying, I'm going to live, I'm going to live. I'm going to live till I die.
Yeah, so what happens is when it becomes metaphorical, it's not structural, you could all interpret that differently. If it's structural and everybody has to lift the roof of their mouth, the hard palate up, go, and faces are engaged. Now do barber speak there. I'm gonna live. Right, you can do that, but if you want to repeat the behavior, like one day you think barber speak is, well, it's kind of here, or the next day barber speak is I'm kind of here,
What's
right?
interesting is we've never been consistent.
Right.
It's a term we've used, but we've never, as a course, we've never been consistent with barber speaking. So
I think that's why. Because I think unless your muscles know what they're supposed to do, you can't do it. This is muscle. This is structure. This is like something you can, If you've dropped, we know it. Right? Because you can see it. Okay, let's try again. Here we go.
I'm gonna live till I die. I'm gonna laugh, scared and cry. I'm gonna fill my cup until my number's up. I'm gonna live, live, live
started locking and ringing right away, okay? Now what happens is the lead line gets a little bit jumpy. Okay, now, baritone, sometimes your nut lines get jumpy too, right? There is no down. If you keep the structure high and you just let your brain do the business, the brain can run at breakneck speed and keep your accuracy on your notes. But if you start to allow the mechanism, even at the ends of phrases, to collapse and relax, and then go back up, collapse and relax and go back, it doesn't work. Remember, I don't know from last time, if you remember doing this, but on the first breath, the only full breath you get in the song, gentlemen, is the first one. You breathe in, you open your instrument, you become the cello. And now you're going to, I'm going to live till I die. I'm going to laugh instead of cry. All right, I have not dropped my instrument to do that. And now on the next breath, I refresh the same space I made on the first one, and then I go again. So ultimately, the objective is to keep the inside space, the inside roof of my mouth, the inside of my rib cage, and my facial engagement up the entire song. And that's what you go home and practice, because it doesn't feel natural. Okay? So now can we add that piece? So Lee's this time, and don't come down or I'm going to go like this. Okay. Here we go. Good work, guys.
I'm gonna live till I die. I'm gonna laugh instead of cry. I'm gonna fill my cup until my number's up. I'm gonna live till I die. They're gonna say, hey, what a guy.
Okay, now pause. So they're going to say, hey. Let's actually launch that hey as if you really mean it. But here's the thing. H's are tough because most of us put air in it. You go, hey. All right? So I need hard H's. Hey, hey, hey. Like how? Brown. You know what I'm saying? It's like I'm twisting it right in my mouth. Hey. Say it.
Hey.
Bravo. And that'll launch your sound. Okay? Here we go again. Good work up to there. Woo!
I'm gonna live till I die. I'm gonna laugh instead of cry. I'm gonna fill my cup until my number's up. I'm gonna live till I die. They're gonna say, hey, what a guy. I'm gonna play for the sky. I'm gonna miss a thing. I'm gonna have my fling. I'm gonna live till I die. So lay low, I'm gonna stay low. They'll never trail over my head.
Okay, pause. Okay, pause. Okay, so now we're coming down to like a pianissimo space. And we're coming down and we're going to make it softer, okay, in that one place. So I want to talk to you about that. How did that feel that time, baritones, as you were doing that bop, bop, bop? It's easy. And all you're doing is articulating it with more energy, like you mean it, like you're saying it, like you actually think it and feel it. And that launches that sound and keeps you in a check, okay? Tuning much better. Yeah, okay. Still happy. I love that. Okay, so, woo! All right, now, so today I was describing this process of what's happening for me inside my head with my sound. It's like I'm playing with this loop. You know, I'm gonna live till, even though it's lower, I'm gonna live till, it's not coming down. Does this make sense? So when I'm doing it at that level of volume for you all, what I'm feeling is full expansion in the room. But let's say I want to bring it down. I'm gonna live. I'm still doing the same action. I'm keeping the same fidelity of my quality, but I'm bringing it down into a little bit of a smaller space and spinning it inside the actual hard surfaces of my mouth. I'm gonna live. Leads, try that for me, with me. Ready, and like you're just spinning it right here. Ready, and
I'm gonna live.
You feel how instantly it's unified, without force. That's crazy. Do that again, just for fun. That was really good. Ready, Ann?
I'm gonna live.
I love this work. I love this work. That's crazy. That's crazy. That's unified sound with no effort. It's crazy. Yeah, it's crazy. That's awesome, guys. Okay, so does that make sense? So when you come down, what is it? Deliver.
Right at the beginning?
Yeah, where we were just sitting down. What are the words there?
Lay low, I'll make them stay low.
Okay,
Lay low, I'll make them stay
it's a little low for me.
That was trail over my head.
But it's the same practice, you're just gonna do the same thing, in a smaller space, but keep the intensity of it when you get there. All right, so all right, now bases, remember when we were just playing before in the game that I said, can you give me more speech energy to your articulation? When we're in chest voice, it's closest to actual physical speech. If you will keep the speech energy in your sound all the time, okay, don't be afraid of the intensity of it, because I kind of feel like there's a lead section that wants to back off a little and get a little bit more comfy, like a comfy chair. Just stay on the intensity of your articulation for me right now, because what I think can happen is we can pump this bass resonance piece for you and give you more bass resonance with less force. Okay, so let's try. All right, here we go.
I'm gonna live till I die. I'm gonna laugh instead of cry. I'm gonna fill my cup until my number's up. I'm gonna live, live, live till I die. We're gonna say, hey, what a guy. I'm gonna play for the sky. I'm gonna miss a thing. I'm gonna have my fling. I'm gonna live, live, live till I die. So lay low, I'll make them stay low. They'll never trail over my head. I'll be a devil till I'm an angel, but until then, glory, hallelujah, dance, gonna fly. I'll take that chance.
So that was awesome. You feel that. So all you're doing is intensifying and articulating. You're articulating with more intensity and more animation as you want to get louder. There is no force. You're not, volume is not happening at bel canto. There's no gas pedal. There's nothing that feels different in your body at any time except the intensity with which you are articulating. And that action actually causes your resonators to fully open and engage and expand sound in a split second. Without force. Woo! Yes? Anybody happening to notice that their breathing is not an issue?
Yeah.
Like our brains aren't freaking out about breathing. Our brains aren't freaking out about notes. Our brains aren't freaking out while you're doing this. That act of the timing of that onset takes all of the stress and strain out of your life.
It's like a perfect launch each time.
Exactly right. And as a team, it's like you're doing, oh my God, it's a beautiful sound, guys, tonight. Thank you so much for staying so focused. Questions about what we're doing, and then let's try it again.
One little thing about sustaining a note on this breathing situation.
Yep.
When he might want to sustain it, do we cut in and out like they taught us?
You know what, in my opinion, no. That your brain is really smart. Remember that part I said earlier? Okay.
You forgot that.
That went right over.
All right, so the brain is really smart. Now here's what I mean by that. When your body opens up, so everybody exhale. Now let's say we're gonna engage the structure of the mouth, and we're gonna engage our cello, our ribs and our expansion at the same time. Breathing in. Now I'm suspending those walls. As long as my brain knows how long my phrase is, my brain is letting my body regulate my air. As long as I don't let go of the walls. As soon as I let those walls start slipping, I'm going to lose control of my air and lose it. So as soon as that bellows effect starts happening, you've lost it. But if you can practice, just hold still, keep the walls in integrity, all the way to the end of the phrase, you will not lose your breath.
Hold it, you probably could hold it for 30.
Well, you mean actually, the Tim Wart post thing is super easy.
Is it?
Super easy. It's super easy. He is so comfortable while he is doing that. It's like he's dialing it in. Because he's breathing in, all the air is behind his cords, everything is just like we're just doing. You breathe in, you hold still, you land the note, and you hold still. But he's not doing this. He's not pushing anything anywhere. He's not forcing anything. He's just allowing and maintaining the integrity of that instrument to continue the sound like we're doing with the ceiling.
He never breathes in again?
Nope, not while I was holding one of those. Nope.
next week.
Debra, last time you were here, you advocated a breathing exercises every day.
Yeah.
And that was expand, count to 8, and then exhale?
Yeah,
What it
yeah,
was?
and that's for purposes of developing intercostal strength. The biggest challenge you all have right now with what I'm asking you to do is that your rib muscles are involuntary muscles that typically haven't worked a day in their life. They've only been asked they literally, the lungs inhale and they push out, the lungs exhale and they collapse, okay? So that the muscles themselves are not inclined to open up and stay still, because why would they do that, okay? So it took a few months for this, to do this automatically, and so the purpose of the exercise is to get your intercostal muscles strong enough to hold still for as long as you need to for a whole phrase. Okay, so the exercise, for just a reiteration, is you breathe in, release. So I'm breathing into the point of suspension. I'm not doing anything added. I'm not changing or constricting. I'm just opening it up. Here we go. And release.
So you're not closing off your vocal folds.
The vocal folds are closed as soon as I get to the point of expansion, but you can't feel it.
But you're not clenching them.
They're already closed, so I wouldn't do that. So be aware of what you're feeling. Breathing in again. Right at the moment your air stops, your vocal folds are closed. That's why I say to you that the bel canto method is no pressure. You don't feel anything in your throat. You feel open space, but you don't feel the closure. Try it. This is why it's so hard for the body to understand its mechanics. Okay, try it again. And release. So as soon as you hit that point of suspension, your vocal folds are actually closed, and our job, should we choose to accept it, is to try to not interrupt them doing their job. And then you won't lose as much air. So if you are losing air, chances are it's just from the articulation energy, like we're working with something new tonight. This is different to not have you thrust out towards J, right? So it'll take a little while. Don't worry about it. Just keep at it until it feels natural that you can actually make it. And then eventually, you may not need to take multiple breaths in a phrase, okay? But if you have to now, it's okay. Just reset the body and come back in, okay?
Because I can imagine some people are thinking about coarse breathing. We use the term
Yeah.
coarse breathing.
Yeah.
And does that still apply?
You're gonna find has anybody noticed that you haven't needed it? Like you've been breathing, but you haven't necessarily needed to take coarse breathing.
Not yet.
That's a sign to me that you may be releasing and collapsing and losing air. But just be aware that there are people that are on the risers that aren't being aware, they're not aware of their breath. That's why, because the body's doing the regulation for you, the body's taking care of it. The body, the rib cage is what's coordinating the vocal folds to maintain their closure so that you can maintain your sound. If you drop the ribs, you lose control. Okay? Now, I bypassed that tonight by having you play with your expansion of sound and playing with what your objective actually is, which really, you didn't even have to really worry about this because of the way we're playing with sound. The body is staying stable because you're holding onto that expansion. So we can come at it from right brain or left brain. Any other questions before we go again? All right, let's go again. All right, guys, ready to go. All right, so all skate up.
I'm gonna live till I die. I'm gonna laugh, stand and cry. I'm gonna fill my cup until my number's up. I'm gonna live, live, live till I die. They're gonna say, hey, what a guy. I'm gonna play for the sky. I'm gonna miss a thing. I'm gonna have my thing. I'm
articulate the live, live, live
Yeah.
like you mean it. Live, live, live. Do it for me. You're going to intensify the L, fast L, but intensify the word. If we want to get instant volume on each one, do it for me in your speech. Go.
Live, live, live.
Take it back down. The first one is not as big as you wanted to do it. Go.
Live, live, live.
That's what you want to do. Okay? So go from the all right, basses, by the way, really, really good fidelity of sound on that section. Like, holy moly, I'm like, woo, that's a sexy bass section. Here we go.
I'll lay low, I'll make them stay low, they'll never trail over my head. I'll be a devil till I'm an angel, until then, glory, hallelujah, dance, gonna fly. I'll take a chance, riding high. I'm gonna take this town and turn it upside.
That was pretty darn good. That was pretty darn good. Now, we got a little tiny bit of collapse happening on the lead side this last time. Okay, so we started to hear the inconsistency. For me, that was structural. Some faces were dropping, some inside spaces. So as a section, my recommendation is you work together circling up, watch each other's faces, and get really comfortable with your radio personality. Not the analytical personality, right? So if we go to here and go to thinking space, sometimes baritones you have that habit, right? If we go to thinking phase, we tend to collapse everything. So really, you've got to get used to this idea. What's your first name?
Mike.
Hi, Mike. Yes, I know you. Now, Mike has poster child face. Chris is getting poster child face. Jack has got pretty good poster child face. So you want to start to have the look. You do too. Walt's got it, right? So it's the natural engagement that's not natural for us as New Englanders sometimes, right? You're trying to maintain that. Now, you're missing some opportunities with the work we've done tonight in this song. There's certain words, especially like the word die, that if you use the D to your best advantage, you will get way more bang for the buck. So as we go into the tag, I want you to start thinking. Every single word matters. I want you to articulate it as if it means something to you, every single word. And then when you get to a word like die, I need you to articulate it like die. Say it for me.
Die.
Bravo. That action right there will create an instantaneous forte. Boom. And then you can go back to doing whatever you're doing. We'll talk about that afterwards. Okay, somebody remind me, Kentucky Vocal Union. Okay? All right, here we go. Yeah, let's do it now. Intensify these so that you're like right spinning it right at that hard palate, the blues'll lay. Say those words right in your hard palate. Here we go.
The blues will lay low, I'll make them stay low, they'll never trail over my head. I'll be a devil till I'm an angel, but until then, glory, hallelujah, dance, gonna fly. I'll take a chance, riding high. I'm gonna take this town and turn it upside.
Opportunity on down. Basses don't come down. Keep the height of it, keep your face up there, do the Martin Waldron, Jim Henry, Joe Cronus, Jeff Oxley trick of keeping this right here and go higher on that lift right as you say the word down. okay? And we're gonna rock it on the ring. Go back to, well, wherever we get it.
The leads were on the bottom side of that note too, that down was.
Do the same exact thing, please. You're gonna go right into the height of your face.
See if I can direct it in a different direction.
The blues will lay low, I'll make them stay low, they'll never trail over my
Articulate.
head. I'll be a devil till I'm an angel, but until then, glory, hallelujah, dance, gonna fly. I'll take a chance, riding high. I'm gonna take this town and turn it upside.
Tilt a little bit into these nasal resonators and lean into that sound as if it's going straight to the ceiling, but it's going through your cheeks. So we're going to intensify the volume of that tag. All right, but don't add any volume. It's not about force, it's just about your placement and allowing that intensity to increase. Okay? Deal? All right, here we go. One more time. That was fabulous. Oh my gosh.
The blues will lay low, I'll make them stay low, they'll never trail over my head. I'll be a devil till I'm an angel, but until then, glory, hallelujah, dance, gonna fly. I'll take a chance, riding high. I'm gonna take this town and turn it upside.
And just keep allowing the sound to continue to expand. There is infinite space above your head. You want to go right into that infinite space and allow that infinite space to direct the cutoff. There will be a point where it will have to release. But that's when you hear, like the big choruses, have that screaming ring that's just like, wah, and they let it continue to expand until the point that they have to release it. And then you get the energized release at the end of it. Does that make sense? Do you guys have any idea how fabulous that sound was that you just made? Overall.
That's the sad part, a lot of them can't hear.
But we recorded it, so we have evidence. We have evidence. When I shouted to you to articulate and you actually did it, every single word that you were articulating, every word in the song went boom, and it exploded. Okay, and it happened because of what you were doing. Your only job is that articulation. That's crazy. That's crazy. But in order to get there at the level you want to go, what we have to do is get you used to the fact that there is nothing but up, and the structure is constant. It is not an option. It is not like, I'm not feeling like it tonight, I'm not going to do it. It's not like that. If you want to play at this higher level, you have to get your body mechanics to open up, stabilize, maintain, and then you know what? Every single thing you sing is going to do this. Well worth the price of questions, guys? This was awesome. You did great work. Thanks for letting me to dig in and kind of drill you a little bit. That was great. Oh my God, that's a great sound. It's thrilling to me to be able to help you like this. Go.
To have a crescendo, you're talking about trying to go through the kind of more.
Now, your crescendo is going to happen because you've expanded resonance space. So resonance, get this in your mind's eye, the more you expand your resonance space, you open up, the louder you're going to be. The faster you articulate, the faster those resonators open up. So when you did die, die. Everybody do it, say it.
Die.
That's the act right there. The D is what's causing it to happen.
And how do you do a decrescendo then?
So the pianissimo, that's what we were doing with the guy. Now you guys didn't have the same thing because you didn't have those words, right? The bluesalelo, that's not part of it? Or is it? No.
We have a little intro, but we do it.
All I'm doing for pianissimo, think of it this way. I am a high fidelity speaker. My fidelity does not change no matter what volume I'm at. My quality is the same at pianissimo as it is at forte. That's because there is no loud and soft. I'm just open on my resonators or more compressed and allowing that sound to be more intensified and laser. So when we did the blues-a-lay-low, everybody just go to that space, just say these words, ready, and. The blues will lay low, I'll make it stay low, I'll never trail over my head. That's going to take you to pianissimo. That's going to take you to your song. But you notice you're still articulating the same way. Now you're going to do it with bigger space. Here we go. Let's go to, we're going to live, live, live. Go. I'm going to live, 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 live. And you feel it. And you can feel the expansion happening, and it has to do with the L. That the L is launching your resonators to open because the intensity of that attack took you there. Do it again. I'm going to live, 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 live. Bravo. You feel that? So are light bulbs going off for you guys as to what's causing this?
But I think what you're getting at is like in If I Loved You, we had soon.
Okay, so anytime you have a rapid decrease of volume, going from a loud or an expanded sound to a small sound, there's two rules. You gotta stay still. And you're not just dropping you're not getting whispery. It's not about adding air into the sound. It's by taking, like you've got the expand, do we have time to go there? Can we go before we have to finish? Okay, you guys okay?
Yep.
Okay, let's go there. Let me see if I can show you so that you can have your answer.
Let's see.
Good work.
That one?
Maybe that one.
So on Big Soon, so this is back to I Love You. Let's get that first soon together.
Now get your space in place before you do it. One more time. Woo! I made my voice shake. That's amazing. Fiona's coming now. She's going to whip crack the whip. All right, so if you don't have the space in place prior to actually articulating, it ain't good to work. But if you do,
It's good, but it's not that good.
That's great. It just goes right there. How many of y'all went to Voctive? Okay. I was going to ask earlier, what was the most impressive thing about Voctive?
I thought it was unisons.
Absolutely.
That's what I thought.
And their unison entrances. So here's 11 people on individual mics, and they all come in exactly the same time, at the exact same intensity, at the exact same way. How do you think they do that, gentlemen? Well, they're doing a lot of this. They're setting their space, they're making sure they're ready, and they're articulating in a very specific way. Boom. And the whole thing works. Okay? So let's do soon again. Fiona won't show up unless she's needed. Okay, good. So here's what you did. You went soon, you dropped. Now what if nothing ever goes down? Keep the structure structure up on that soon, stay in the same space, and then re-articulate the U at the level you want to be heard. Use your articulation energy to do it, not your dropping of space or your air. Are we good? Oh, you're just clarifying?
Section.
Have you got it?
Oh. Time went down.
All right, here we go. Okay. So keep space, height, ready, and. Awesome. Now only one problem is here's what I'm seeing. How much we hate E's in barbershops. Here's what I saw. So Lee's, you have, what's your thing? Soon you leave me. Is that right? So I'm seeing this. Soon you leave me. Soon you leave me. I need you to articulate like you mean it, and that you would actually say that word, as opposed to trying to modify yourself so that you won't stick out. It won't work. Okay, here we go, one more time.
Are you saying that your facial expression does not change?
Okay, I love, these are great questions. Okay, my structure never changes. My inside of my mouth never changes.
I'm talking about expression.
My expression is going to change based on the authentic meaning of the words in my heart. So if I really understand what I'm singing, my expression is going to come through my authenticity of my expression, through my eyes and through my face. My face will change, but my structure does not. My forward lift does not collapse. I'm not going, soon you'd leave me. Well, you can't. As a singer, you have structural responsibility to maintain the instrument.
Right, yeah, and you have to think of yourself as an instrument. You know,
This is different,
like
right?
any orchestral instrument, you know, the tuba doesn't change shape depending on its.
The cello does not. So this is weird because we're marshmallow instruments. We want to change shape. We're telling ourselves to change. Our bodies are telling us to change shape. But the reality is, in order to get the mechanism to work, you can't change shape. So, internal. You got that soon. Soon. So here's what happens. Soon you'd leave me. Clearly. Okay, sorry, Debra. Okay, so watch me one more time. Soon you'd. That U for me is higher than the soon. I'm feeling my structure go up on the U. Okay, just leads for a second. Ready, and. Yeah, so you weren't ready to articulate before you said that S. Okay, and remember, S's are tricky. You've got to just get them really quick and get that air out of there. So breathing in.
Sorry.
Breathing in. And.
Section
Okay, now I'm getting different ones. Think ooh. Exhale for me. Breathe in on ooh. Here we go.
Soon you leave me.
Feel the difference in that? It was easier. It was easier to get to where you needed to go because you didn't move around to go there. Okay? What happens when our instrument goes chaotic, and I know we're trying getting close to time, is that this is what'll happen. Soon you leave me. Soon you leave me. Soon you leave me. I can do it the same exact way, collapsing. But if I don't collapse, soon you'd leave me. Okay? All right, ball skate. Let's do it right there. You can do this, gentlemen. Now, I got a question. You would not say soon that way, though, would you? You feel it? It wants to kind of be like, soon. It's punching at me. So what if you just let it expand upward? I'm going to give you a trick on the S really quick. This is technical for the analyzers, okay? I'm trying to get the air out of that sound super quick. Sue, sue. Get to the ooh faster. That's another way of saying it. Here we go. Lifting in. I got to pause you for a second. That was stunning. That was stunning. That was absolutely beautiful.
It was this rumble down here.
That's ambassadors of harmony. And And they would spend that much time on those 4 notes, be that tedious. Like my voice teacher, I spent $400 on 4 measures for 4 lessons in a month. But when I learned how to sing those 4 measures for $400, I could sing the entire aria plus. So sometimes the technical thing like this, if you can remember that what you just did on the Soon You Leave Me, it's the same for any descending line. Nothing ever descends. It only goes up. Can you try one more time? That was beautiful. Love is a happy word, gentlemen. So is that. Felt different, didn't it?
Take about a week to wipe the smile off his face.
It felt different on the risers. Okay, I'm noticing a couple people that are coughing and stuff, okay? If you're not sick and you're coughing, it's because there's air being pushed through your mechanism. So just be aware that if you're getting irritation here, the mechanics, the stability of the mechanics are not quite there and we're using too much air. Air is friction to your vocal folds. It's like sandpaper. If it comes pouring through, you're gonna start to cough. Okay, so if you're sick and that's happening, I'm really sorry, you get better. But if it's because of the mechanics, that's what's causing it. So go to just stabilizing your breath. Lead, stunning. You basses, baritones, that was stunning. When you came in and you notice you're just articulating with the tenderness that you mean to articulate the sound so that the meaning of the word is coming through you because you're saying it that way as you sing. You're actually in the way, you're articulating exactly like you would be if you were speaking, only you're suspending sound, you're suspending space, you're suspending structure. Does this kind of make sense?
And you're wringing the snot out of this voice.
And that's being contributed to by the fact that your inner structure, the roof of your mouth, is maintaining more height and integrity. For those of you where we went tonight was a little technical, go back to cocktail party. Fake, that's a fake feeling of height on the upper jaw. That's the